There are a couple of other text exchanges, and I do want to get to this lead prosecutor and what happened to Anna Cross. Where is she? But let's start with another text exchange. Some we have, like the three that we just went through, that we showed to the audience. Some we just heard about during the cross-examination. And this is one of those, or at least this is some information that Terrance Bradley appears to have shared with Ashley Merchant in some way, shape, or form about allegedly someone witnessing Wade and Willis having sex in the office place before she was DA. Again, before they claimed their affair began. This is SOT 7.
Mr. Wade told you that they had sex at that office, though, correct?
I don't recall him saying that, no.
You don't recall it?
No.
So it's possible he did say that. You just don't remember one way or another?
I do not remember him saying that.
Now, the longer exchange has her setting that up by saying, do you remember telling me that Wade and Willis would rendezvous at this office? And so she's zeroing in on, you told me this. And then she says, Mr. Wade told you they had sex at the office. I don't recall him saying that. You don't recall? No. And then she goes on to say, so it's possible he did say that? And he says, I don't remember. Now, you and I both know, Phil. You and I both know, if you're Terrance Bradley and Nathan Wade's telling you he's having sex with Fani Willis at the office, you remember. You remember. It's just yet another example of him. I mean, I guess technically what's he trying to do in our estimation? It's our opinion. Trying to protect Nathan Wade and trying to not lie in doing it. He doesn't want to get himself a perjury charge. So the only out at this point is I don't recall.
Well, the big question about them having sex at the office in my mind, and I was listening closely to this yesterday, and I may have missed it, but I didn't hear anybody talk about when that sex occurred. I mean, other than not remembering, but it's important because if there's some communications that confirm that they were having sex, prior to 2022, that's highly relevant and that does move the needle. But if they're having sex at the office in 2022, and Bradley didn't leave there, I think, until the summer, maybe June of 2022. So if it was like the first half of that year, then that would be consistent with the testimony that their affair started in 2022. So what we don't know.
And just to clarify that, Phil, because that got a little confusing. If the reference is to, if that office in the reference to, did you remember telling me that Wade and Willis would rendezvous at that office? If that office is a reference to Wade's and Terrance Bradley's law office, you're saying Terrance left that in early 2022? Is that what you're saying?
I think Terrance left the firm in the summer of 2022. So what we don't know, and I wasn't clear, and part of
wait a minute. So let me just stop before we go too far down this road. I've got Kelly McGuire, one of my producers, in my ear. It's a reference to the Evans office, which is, I think, is that Fani's earlier office?
I don't know. I think possibly.
Yes.
There's also an individual named
She
Evan
rented an office.
case.
What year, Kelly McGuire? Sorry to have this conversation live on the air, but Kelly's been neck deep in all of this.
Well, it's important to get it straight. It was hard to keep straight in court.
Okay. Hearing from Kelly McGuire, listen, she's poured over this very carefully, that we believe Fani Willis was renting an office in Evans and that it was as far back as maybe 1819. And this is long before 2022.
Okay.
And Ashley Merchant is saying, do you remember Wade and Willis would rendezvous at that office? It's a reference to the Evans office, which he had back in 19. And then he says, first, any knowledge I would have received would have come from my client at the time. And then she gets another bite at it. Ashley Merchant says, Mr. Wade told you they had sex at that office, though, correct? I don't recall. You don't recall? No. So it's possible he did say that? I don't remember him saying that. So she's trying to prove here, Phil, that they were having sex as far back as 19, which is exactly what we heard from star witness Robin Yurti.
Yeah.
Listen here.
From everything that you saw, heard, witnessed, it's your understanding that they were in a romantic relationship beginning in 2019?
Yes.
You have no doubt that their romantic relationship was in effect from 2019 until the last time you spoke with her?
No doubt.
And Did you observe them do things that are common among people having a romantic relationship?
Yes.
Such as, can you give us an example?
Hugging, kissing, just affection.
All before November 1st of 2021, correct?
Yes.
And she said 2019. And so this Evans office was 2019. And you tell me where Ashley Merchant would have gotten it, that Willis and Wade were having sex in the Evans office being occupied by Fani Willis, if not from Terrance Bradley, who suddenly doesn't recall anything.
Yeah, when I heard that, I interpreted it to mean that there had been a discussion, like a conversation, maybe on the phone or in person, between Merchant and Bradley, where maybe he had stated that, because I don't think there was I didn't hear about them confronting him with a text message talking about it.
She didn't there.
Yeah, so I believe that was based on, you got to have a good faith basis for it. And I've been in that situation where somebody tells me something, and I don't get it in writing, and then they say something different in court. And isn't it true that you told me, last week something totally different? But if they say, no, I didn't tell you that, you're kind of stuck because you don't have any way to prove it. And I think that was the situation she may have found herself in there, where there was a conversation that she remembered him making a statement that he didn't even remember the conversation. So she's kind of unfortunately stuck with that answer unless she's got some other way of proving that the statement was made. But that's what I took from it. Yeah.
Here's another excerpt where she asks him specifically about trips, and she appears to be referencing a text, but again, we don't yet have our hands on the text. I'm just going to read from the transcript that my team put together. Ashley Merchant, did Mr. Wade tell you about the trips that he and Ms. Willis took? Terrance Bradley, no. Bradley, I did not know until you texted that you found that in the deposition of his divorce. That you found that in the deposition of his divorce. Merchant, okay. And when you responded, doesn't surprise me, because she texted him, did you know about the trips? And he responded, doesn't surprise me. They took many trips to Florida, Texas, California. Those are your words, right? And she got an objection to relevance. But let's see, eventually he just said, I don't recall. So she clearly has another text, at least one, that says, they took these trips. And he says, doesn't surprise me. They took many trips to Florida, Texas, California. And some of these we don't know about. Oh, I haven't heard testimony about a trip to Texas and so on. So the full extent of the relationship and the travels may not yet have been revealed, Phil. And really what we need is the full texts.
Yeah, there's obviously a lot of context that's missing here. Yesterday I would have loved for them to be able to have like a projector to be able to publish the contents of these that we're talking about right now, so that it could help us to understand the testimony. But now that we have these texts that we've been talking about, it does provide so much more context, and it's easier, I think, for people to see, how this can be used as substantive evidence, and the judge is not obligated to stick with the testimony that he heard, from the witness stand.
Discover a holistic wellness solution with Bond Charge, a brand dedicated to optimizing every aspect of your life. Grounded in science and inspired by nature, their evidence-based products cover a broad spectrum of premium wellness items. From enhancing sleep and performance to boosting energy, accelerating recovery, and balancing hormones, Bond Charge offers a diverse range of benefits. Consider the infrared sauna blanket from Bond Charge that they say can burn extra calories and detoxify. This innovative blanket elevates your heart rate, simulating the effects of physical exercise. Bond Charge says sweating during the process will help eliminate heavy metals and toxins from your body. Setting it up takes less than a minute, and it rapidly heats up for a quick and convenient experience. For a limited time, save 15%. by visiting bondcharge.com/MK and use the coupon code MK. That's Bond, B-O-N, charge, CHARGE.com/MK, and use the coupon code MK to save 15%. Hey, thanks so much for watching. If you like what you just saw, hit the subscribe button for more clips and full episodes.